Hello and welcome here. I am Hamza Al Khatib, a fourth year dental student, and I love making videos. Now, for today, I have finals coming up in about a week or 10 days. And for today, I plan on studying internal medicine subject. I have 3 lectures I want to finish today, but today I will get you in with me to see how I study and how I plan on doing it very quick and very fast in a very efficient way. First, before I start, I want to tell you about my desk setup for today. You might think, Hamza, you're all about iPads, why do you have a notebook? For today, I don't plan on using the iPad as well. I plan on writing on notebook and I plan on studying in a specific way that I will let you on in about a minute. So now let me tell you about my desk setup and how I plan on doing it. My desk setup, of course, I have here a notebook and a normal pen, just the old way. It is a Pilot pen that doesn't really matter. And I have here my M4 Mac Mini, which I will use as my main computer for studying today. I'll be watching lectures on it and I will be opening the slides and taking down notes from it. And I have here my iPad with a Magic Keyboard, but I will not really use it today. Maybe I will use it as a timer or as an alarm, but it doesn't really matter here for me today. I have here my AirPods that I will use for today as well to study and hear the lectures. I have here my microphone, which I will use for recording videos. And that's it. Here I have the Magic Mouse and the Logitech K380, which I've made multiple of videos on for the iPad and as a keyboard in general. And I have here my calculator, another notebook, and that will be it for today. Also, of course, I have here my lamp, my desk lamp that I got from IKEA, and that will be my desk setup for today. So you might wonder, Hamza, what's your plan for studying today? Now, for these lectures, I don't plan on studying them for the last time before the exams. I plan on going after them one more time in the last night before the exam. So for today, I just want to go over these lectures and have a general view about the lectures. I want to watch the lecture itself and I want to see what the doctor or professor focuses on so that the last time I study it before the exam, I know what to focus on more and I will have a general idea about the rest of the stuff. So for today, I just want to hear the lectures, watch them, take down some notes, just some important bullet points so that I know the general aspect or the outline of the lecture, so that I have a general overview of all the lectures for the exam. So yeah, that will be it. So let's get started. So now, quick break. I'm still in the first lecture. It's a long lecture, a 1.5 hours. I got bored from it, so I put it at 1.5 speed. And I've been taking some notes, some quick notes like that. I've been taking a couple of pages. They're just quick bullet point notes so that I remember when I finish what the lecture was about, so that after I'm done with the lecture, I can just go through them very quick and I can just remember what happened or what important aspects of the lecture were. So now let me go continue. So I'm taking a 5-minute break yet again for the second time. There's about 25 minutes left to the lecture. I'm taking a water break for about 5 minutes. I'm thinking since the next lecture is only about 25 minutes all in itself. So I'll just finish this lecture real quick and I will move to the next lecture very quick. So I finished watching the first lecture and I took down notes for it. I took about 8 pages of notes. They weren't really that much of notes. They were bullet points of the important aspects of the lectures themselves. I watched the second lecture, but it was a short lecture, but the lecture itself wasn't really fulfilling and it didn't have everything in it. So I'm back watching or reading these slides and the modified slides that had some added textbook paragraphs and aspects. And I am taking down notes right now. So I will finish taking down notes and I will get back to you. I'm finally done for today. I finished 3 lectures. I studied the same way. The first part I do is I watch the lecture if I have a video lecture or I watch it in person. But for these lectures, they were uploaded online, so I had to watch it online. That was the first step and that's how I usually go. Then after that, if I find myself that I have fully understood the lecture through the video lecture, I can just go over it really quick. But like for 2 of these lectures, I thought or I felt that the video lectures weren't really enough of themselves. So I had to go back and for the slides and for the modified slides that we have that has any added information from the book or from other sources that are relevant to the lecture. Now for these lectures, I also wrote down some notes. Now as you can see, the notes are not really notes that you can come study from, but they are notes that help me memorize some important information from the lectures. But they are notes that help me understand the lecture and memorize the lecture itself. And now what really helps me when I come to studying and how do I stay in focus for as long as possible? Well, there are a few stuff that help me. The first one is drinking water. I feel like drinking water really helps me to focus, and I don't really like to take much breaks, as if I take a good break, I probably won't go back to studying. So just taking a 1 minute break, drinking a sip of water, going to the kitchen, going for a small walk, doing some exercises, maybe a push-up, maybe some stretching, really helps me to stay in focus and to continue studying. And that is one habit that I really like while studying, because it gets me right back in the studying mode. But you also might wonder, Hamza, why are you not using the iPad? Because as I have said at the beginning of the video, I don't plan on studying as the really understanding every single aspect and memorizing it. I just want to study today just to have a somewhat of a general information or idea about the lectures, so that when I come before the exam to reopen the lectures, that I know everything. But I also find that written down notes or with a paper and a pencil or a pen, they are easier to gather all the information together. Like for instance, on iPad you can only open one page, and that I don't really like. But when I write down notes on a notebook, just like I've did today, I can open multiple of pages at the same time, and that helps me gather all the information or the timeline of the notes that I've taken all at the same time. So I just can go back to the pages, and this way I can just remember what I studied before and have like a quick look at it, and to just gather all the information all together at the same time. Another thing why I really like this way of studying, because when I watch the lecture, I really focus on what the doctor or the professor is focusing on most. So that is usually what is the most important in the subject, and that is what the questions come about on most probably. So by watching the lecture and seeing what the doctor focuses on, by raising his voice, by saying more, or having sit on in the slide for longer periods of time, it's usually just as an instinct that it is more important than the other stuff. That doesn't mean that other stuff is not important, but the doctor focuses on that aspect, so probably you will get questions about that aspect, so I like to focus on that part more. This helps me to get higher marks by not spending much time or studying efficiently, as you can say, in a productive manner that I really like and I've used for multiple of years now, and it has worked very well for myself. And now, before I go off, I thought I would show you some of my notes so you could see about how the bullet points I was writing looked like. First, just so you know, I don't really use them to study only, but I just use them to when I go back to the lecture itself, so that I have an idea about what I focused on or what I had in mind. So my notes could look something like that, as here like I have 2 cases of modifying drugs, just like that, or I have here a disease, and I've wrote some of the important aspects that were mentioned in it, about it in the lecture. And it could look something like that about the circle, something that is important, that the doctor said it is important, or it might come about in the exam. And this is how they generally look like. They could be somewhat hectic, but I know how to read or what I focused on during the writing or during studying of the lecture itself. So this was it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. You tell me about what you think about my studying routine and about ideas about what to vlog next while being productive on the desk. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.